comparing him to Jesus Christ thing, I mean, come on now.
Really?
That's why people don't like Steph, bro. I'm telling you, bro, because it's stuff like that. Like, it's hard. Some people make it hard. Steph's a good dude, man. We're like immortalizing the guy. He's the greatest shooter of all time. Top 10 player all time. That's it. Let's stop. Stop it right there. He's not Jesus Christ. He can't walk on water. Okay, he can't turn water into wine. Okay, that's not what we're doing. Like, damn, what is going on out here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at me.
Benchmark. They're speaking the facts that you wanna hear. They're ripping jersey, the vision is clear. Diamonds glisten like a chandelier. You know what I'm here for, like Marshawn Lynch. At clutch time, we do not flinch. Real brothers, we do not switch. Hit home runs with the right pitch. Who run the city? What to do when they hating on you? I feel like Kobe 2010. Taking an L, all I need is a win. Business is business, you know how they go. They playing the seats, now it's time to grow. Tuning now, gotta be in the know. Showtime, bitch, my about to blow.
I ain't seen something else. Bowser was really
Benchmark Podcast. What's up, bro? Welcome back to another episode of the Bench Mob ENT. Before we start off the show, just like you start a game, you gotta put down some rules. Y'all know the house rules. Make sure you follow, subscribe, share it with a friend, share it with your baby mother. I don't care if you're not talking. This is great content. She might like it. Greg, Mr. Hot Takes, debate your mother sends me. How you doing tonight?
And I'm going good. I'm separating myself from my team, so I'm better than my teams are right now. So I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Me.
Wow, Knicks tape Davenport. How you living?
Feels pretty good to be on top. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, in New York at least, we still on the way up. You know, there's a lot of stuff to go right for us right now, but I'm not gonna rub it in.
What's the ceiling for the Knicks? Because as of right now, if they keep rising as they do, it'll probably be that first round matchup is Cleveland Knicks in the first round.
I think they could beat that team. Honestly, like they match up well. We've got really good defenders on this team. Jalen Brunson, if he can play at the level that he's playing, like tonight, he just went off in the first half. And the thing is, when he gets hot, he's hot. Like he's hitting his threes. We know the mid range is going to be there, and they just feed off of that. And I like the chemistry on this team too. So I think in a playoff matchup, and teams got to come to MSG. So it's different in the playoffs at MSG. So it's one of those things where I'm not worried about the hostility of Cleveland fans out there. I mean, they don't put fear in my heart. So I don't want to look past them either, but I think we can beat them, and then that would probably have us matching up with Boston in the second round. That's another team that, I mean, I think we can push in that second round. And who knows what happens in the playoffs? Guys get cold, injuries happen. So I don't want to put a ceiling on this team. I think the way they've been playing, it's fun to watch. It's just been fun to watch them play every night because you don't have too many moments in the game where you're like, there it is. They're going to blow this one. It's like they had a lead against Brooklyn tonight, even though it's Brooklyn right now where it's a lot of role players on this team, but they didn't really wither when Brooklyn made comebacks here and there. So, and same with Boston the other night. So I'm excited. I'm excited about the future for this team.
On the flip side, Greg.
He took it to the flips. Let's talk about what the Knicks are doing right before we talk about this stupidity in Brooklyn. I mean, I think the Knicks deserve a little more airtime than that. Look, that team is playing legitimately well. They can make a run. They can make a real run in the playoffs. I don't think you can throw water on anything the Knicks fan says right now. I mean, yeah, the finals run stuff is, Interesting, but they definitely are gonna. They can make a run. They really can. They can get to a conference finals. I don't see why not. I'm serious. Jalen Brunson. I've seen him do it in the playoffs before, so I know that even if you're game planning for him, he can still get 40. Like I know he could do that. And then obviously, Randall's a question mark for me. That's where I wonder about him in the playoffs. I really do. Some of the bad shots he takes sometimes are that. Turnovers kill you in the playoffs. So I just wonder about him, but he's been playing so well, like I have no reason to not think that he wouldn't play well enough in the playoffs, right? And RJ, if they can get anything out of him offensively, that's just icing. But Josh Hart's been big for them. I think they have a real chance to make a nice, good run. And I'll say on the podcast too, because I said it a few weeks ago when Knicks fans were on my ass about it, but I was wrong. I was wrong about what I said clearly, and I think to clarify about the Nets still being better than the Knicks after that trade. I think the biggest thing I didn't take into account, and it's stupid because I coach, so I should know better, is how long it takes a team to gel after you completely get all these new players, and it's not the same team anymore. You can't run the same plays. You can't, your defense is different. It's a lot. These aren't excuses. It's real. The Knicks are playing amazing. The Knicks are better. The Knicks are probably better no matter what. But that Knicks deserve a lot of credit. And honestly, I'm happy for most Knicks fans. Some of you guys are trash, but most Knicks fans I'm happy for. And they deserve this moment. But
for the Knicks too, it presents, we was talking about this before the show started, it presents a bright future for them where you're gonna have players gonna actually take the meeting out to see in the summertime. Are they gonna come play with the Knicks, get that other star? Because RJ Barrett, it's already rumored he's gonna be traded to get another piece. One of the names that's come up, two of the names, is from the Philadelphia 76ers. The Philadelphia 76ers. Is rumored James Harden or Joel Embiid might be a piece that the Knicks add.
James Harden? They'd be in on no. James Harden, you heard that? That's real?
I didn't hear that, but if it's true, I don't want him anywhere near this team.
My God.
One, we'd have to give up picks, probably a young piece. And does he make us that much better? Like, this isn't Houston, James Harden. This is like
Fat man. Yo, he's going to
really
Houston.
James Harden.
He's going to Houston.
What do we think about him going back to Houston? Because that was a thing. People were saying that since obviously James Harden's going to be out, maybe the Knicks hop in on that sweepstakes and sweep in and get him. If that's not the case and he goes back to Houston, what are our thoughts about Harden leaving? We don't think they're going to win a championship, but Harden leaving at least a contender and going back to Houston to play with Jalen Green and be coached by Paul Silas.
He'll be Paul.
Doesn't make sense. Yeah, I know. Paul.
I think that he loves living in Houston. Okay, it's been it's been well reported. He loves living in Houston. I can see why. His physique. And all the great food spots out there. It makes a lot of sense. I really don't blame him. No, for real though. Like I'm so serious. James, I call him fat, but like I wouldn't be better if I was in Houston. It's great eats everywhere, like everywhere. So I don't blame him. But in all seriousness, that's the house he built. All right. So him going back there, I understand it. I think what makes him funny is the irony of it all. Like you got fat. While you were there on purpose, you did your little James Harden thing where you imploded. You stopped playing hard. You sabotaged the team from the inside out just to get your way to get out of there. Now you're gonna come crawling back, a fat, diminished man. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I don't get that part. But as the move, I get it. And the BS you'll hear about him being excited about Jalen Green, maybe that's true. I mean, Jalen Green's very talented. But is he the veteran leader that they need? Him? Like them? Imagine them going to the strip club together and eating Whataburger and eating a burger joint downtown. Damn, it's good food. I can see how they would enjoy it, have a good time. But as far as the product on the basketball court goes, he certainly makes them better. I mean, in all seriousness, but is it what they need right now? I'm not sure. Like I'm gonna say no. Okay, I'm gonna say no. He may make Jalen Green's life a little easier. But from a professionalism standpoint, I have concerns for sure.
With James Harden going back there, obviously, if he goes back to Houston, they're not winning anything. Do we hold against James Harden like we hold against some other players, him not winning a ring?
He was never in that tier for me. He was never in that tier for me. I view him the way I viewed Paul George. He was never in that tier for me. I never really thought that what James Harden did was going to lead to winning a championship anyways. I never put him in that superstar conversation. I know I may sound crazy for saying that, but I really only think there's like a 2 to 5% of the league you have superstars. Like those, that's the kind of the ratio of guys that are superstars in the league. And I never thought that James Harden was a superstar, even during his MVP runs. I thought he was an incredible scorer, incredible passer, an incredible offensive player. But defensively, he had left a lot to be desired. And the way he played didn't always pan out. I mean, the way the style of play Houston had in those years wasn't always going to work and be transferable in the playoffs. So that was kind of the way I viewed him. So no, I don't hold it against him. I think he's on a championship team, a nice second, third option on a championship team. And that's kind of the way his career, if he was going to win, that's how it would have to work. But obviously winning is the most important thing. Is eating a turkey leg at the Jamaican hut down by Third Ward in Houston.
There's back-to-back episodes where you've named people that you don't view as superstars that people are gonna be pissed off at. Just putting that out there.
I never really thought he was one. I mean, that's just me though. I mean,
yeah,
score all the points you want. I'm just saying I don't think that makes you a superstar scoring all the points. I think Nikola Jokic, I gotta renege that. Okay. I was wild. I was wild. I actually forgot I said that when I saw the clip. I was like, oh shit, I said that. Yeah, no, I think he is a superstar because I think he makes guys better offensively in so many different ways and can pass so well. I just think defensively leaves a lot to be desired. That's kind of where my critique of him is. I've seen AD dominate him, but I think in today's game, it's hard to say he's not a superstar. You got to consider him a superstar. So I was wild. But James Harden, I don't think at any point I would really call him a superstar. I'm not taking that one back. That one I'm not coming off of.
Hey, Miles, what about Dame? So Dame recently dropped 71. He's on a tear this whole season, honestly. He's obviously going to stay in Portland. He'll never win. Most people don't bring him up in that conversation of like holding it against him that he won't get a ring. Do you view Dame the same way? And is Dame a superstar in your eyes?
I mean, he's in a tough situation because one, he wants to stay in one place, and two, like nobody wants to go to Portland. So it's going to be tough for them to even be able to contend. So that one year they made the conference finals, that's almost like making the finals for him in Portland, because how are they going to compete with teams out here who are able to get two superstars on their team and be able to compete at the highest level? Like nobody wants to be in Portland. Nobody wants to live there. It's barren. I don't know what to say about Portland. I've never been, but I don't want to go. So I feel bad for him because I think he's a star, borderline superstar, and I think he'd be viewed differently if he was able to get somebody else there and they could go on a run. Because him and CJ, that was like a cool combo. That was like Run DMC and all that. But
it was cute.
It was cute, yeah. But it was never going to get them anywhere near where he needed to be able to, be a superstar. Although he was named on the top 75 list, so I mean,
He's
you
a
got
hell
to
of a
take
player.
that. Yeah,
He's a
I
hell
mean,
of a
look,
player.
nobody just wakes up and scores 71
Come on.
out of nowhere. Like the shots that he hits, he's one of the best shooters to ever live. So you got to put respect on him. But I mean, when you say superstar, you got to be selective on who you're giving that title.
He's the second best point guard of this modern day era, though. Like now, like there's no one besides Steph Curry. There's no one I take over him. Not Kyrie. Not Dame's better than Kyrie unequivocally. He's better than any other point guard you can name unequivocally in this era. I mean, the CP3, and I put him in the light against Dame. It's looking real funny. Like Dame's beating him out too. Like his credentials gonna beat him out. So Dame is the second best point guard I've seen in my lifetime. I can honestly say that. So how do you not call that guy a superstar? It's tough. I think we view him that way because he plays in Portland, and that's the reason why we have a hard time saying that. But we've seen him carry them too. And it's a tough one. I always tell people, You say he's a superstar, I'm not going to argue with you. But if you say he's not, I'm also not going to argue with you. I think he's a guy who's just teetering. And I think he needs that legacy-defining season or moment with that team. And he's had some iconic moments in his career. You know how I say KD has no iconic moments? The sidestep from half court where he boomed it on Paul George from way out there. Yeah, that was iconic. He's had a couple of those moments in his career. So, he's had them. Or the series, that was the same series he outplayed Russ, right? Him and Russ were going at it, and he just whooped Russ. That was the beginning for the decline for Russell Westbrook. But I think it's hard to say. I think he's on the fringe, but he's certainly the second best point guard of this generation. So if you want to call him a superstar, go right ahead. I'm not going to argue with you. I just think he needs to be somewhere where he can win so we can really appreciate him. Look what LeBron did for Kyrie, Just look at that, right? You need that. I think Dame would be the second best player on a championship team. That's what it is. So if by my definition, that's not a superstar. Just saying. If you say to win a championship, if you're the second best player on that team, like you have to be the second best player on a championship team. To me, you're not a superstar. Superstar is the guy who can be the first best player on a championship team. Does that make sense? Is that fair criteria? So that's Bron. That's Tatum. That's Tatum in the light look a little funny sometimes, but I'll give it to Tatum. Tatum, KD. That's why I say what I say. I don't know if KD's a superstar. You see what I'm saying? Can KD be the best player on a championship team?
Looking at that logic, right? Kobe, Shaq.
Don't do that.
No, they were both superstars, though.
Yeah, they're both.
That's what I'm saying. So it's certain cases where
they both.
Obviously, the Heat years, Dwayne Wade, LeBron.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, for the first 2 years, D Wade was a superstar, and then D Wade.
Yeah, I'm talking about yeah. At the beginning, yeah, for sure.
At the beginning, yes, you're right. Yes, it can happen.
It's certain cases.
Oh, but very rare. Very rare.
But I was thinking about all the champions. You look at the Lakers when Kobe won. Pau Gasol, you wouldn't per se was a superstar, but he was the second best player on that team.
Kobe pushed Shaq out selfishly, God rest his soul, because he wanted to prove he was a superstar. He knew. He used the same logic I'm using now. To be a superstar and be looked at that way and be that guy, you had to win and be the number one guy on your team. That was the way you decided you were a superstar. That's the way it was decided that you were a superstar. He knew that. So he knew what his legacy would look like in the light if he played with Shaq the entire way. You know what I mean? So that's what that is. So don't go by what I'm saying. Go by what the NBA's told you in the past and what these guys, the greats, have told you. Kobe's told you that. And that's why he split from Shaq, even though he could have won 1 million championships with Shaq, because they're both superstars. They took turns dominating teams.
That's the same reason why KD left Golden State.
Yeah, but he ain't proven nothing since he left. I mean, if his foot was a little smaller, maybe we'd be talking about this differently. I don't know.
Hey, yo.
Prove it.
You and KD, you and Kyrie, that just goes viral every single time.
I'm going to say this too, bro. I'm going to say this too while we on KD and Kyrie, you brought them up. I was in the car driving home thinking about this Nets just getting blown up by the Knicks. And yo, my head went, I was talking to Ariana about this. I was like, yo, Nets fans deserve so much better than KD and Kyrie. Like, it's so wrong how it ended, what the middle of it, how just tumultuous it was and how stress-filled it was. Nets fans deserve so much better than what they got from Kevin Durant and Kyrie. It's so wrong that we're in this situation right now, and that we can't even talk about championship this year. And this team went 18-2 during a stretch of this season, and now we're getting our doors blown off by the Knicks, and I don't know where our next win is coming. Like, that's just they deserve so much better than KD and Kyrie, and Nets fans shouldn't welcome any of them back, neither KD or Kyrie, with open arms. When they come back to Barclays, I hope they pack it up and they boo them the entire game from start to finish. Throw batteries. I don't care, man. I don't even care, man. They deserve to get booed. They don't deserve a warm welcome. When KD get his little tribute on the screen, I don't give a damn. He's talking about he has family here in Brooklyn. I don't care about none of that. Like, his family in the organization. Boo that guy. Boo him and boo Kyrie. They deserve so much better than what they got from those guys. For real.
So
don't throw batteries. Don't do that.
Speaking of, yeah, I'll protect you on that one. I ain't posting that part.
Don't throw batteries.
I ain't gonna do that to you.
I was like, damn, you gonna get the hose out on them too?
So don't you see what this nigga did? And he said, "Yo, Miles dead wrong because he had like didn't spit on Trae Young, spit on his black guy."
So basically, it's safe to say that going forward, what are the expectations for the Nets? Like the rest for this season and going forward next season. Like y'all got the Ben Simmons situation hanging over y'all head. Like, what's the expectation going forward now? Like the expectations obviously have to be reset in Brooklyn.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this year you get into the playoffs, cool. If you don't, whatever. I mean, I think this is a tough situation that Katie and Kyrie put the Nets in, where they both bailed in the middle of the season, in the middle of a playoff race, and you have a brand new team, brand new roster. You can't run the same plays, you can't run the same defense. Got to change everything mid-season. This really should be preseason for these guys, and it's not, and that's brutal. That's brutal for this team. So change your expectations in the season. If the Nets fall at the playoffs, it's not a bad thing. Houston won't swap this year's pick because they're garbage and they have a chance at Wembanyama, right? So the Nets will get their first round pick. And I believe they have another one, right? Probably from the million they traded for with other teams. So you try to acquire as much talent as possible. I think the plan for the Nets is over the next few years, you be as competitive as you can. You offload some of these awkward pieces like maybe Dorian Finney-Smith, but definitely Royce O'Neal. He's got to go. Joe Harris got to go. Seth Curry got to go. All them those guys got to go. They don't fit on a team like this, in my opinion. Get younger. Build around McCall, build around Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson had 31 points tonight or whatever it was. He's been playing really, really well. He's a bright future, and so does McCall. Keep them both. Don't trade them for under any circumstances. And in 2025, you strike. Mitchell's in the free agent. So is Markkanen. So is Brandon Ingram as well. You strike them. You go after one of those guys. You try to make a move there in free agency and pair them up. Right, with the Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson and build from there. I think you can strike earlier. But the Ben Simmons thing, you mentioned that. I hear a lot of Nets fans talking about trading him and getting rid of first round picks to get him. No, under no circumstances do you get rid of assets in this time frame. We can be patient with Ben. I don't care. You want to, look, if you want to sit on the bench and collect your bread, it's probably in the right place to do it right now. It sucks, but you're probably in the right place to do it right now, because I'm not going to trade you and get rid of a first round pick because I want to get rid of you that bad. You'll be out of my sight in 2025. That's the way I see it. And hopefully, but if you know what this guy cares about is money. He cares about money, right? So I think he'll magically start playing better as we get closer to 2025, right? Give him until next year to start playing better, and then try to sell a little bit higher, and get some assets back in return. But don't give up on that too early. It would be a mistake on their part where we are.
Speaking to Laker Nation, no expectations need to be reset. Lakers are still making the playoffs. LeBron is out, but he'll be back hopefully 2 to 3 weeks. I don't think they get to the 6th seed, but they make the playoffs. AD will be back. I'm not really rocking with AD sitting out in a must-win game. Shout out to the Lakers roster with Reeves and Schroeder going off tonight, 28. But AD sitting out in a must-win game. I'm sorry. Miles could attest. This goes back to when we first got AD. I was not a fan of getting Anthony Davis. Was not a fan of it. But we're going to make the playoffs this year. We'll be fine. LeBron will come back by the end of the year. Wrap it up. I don't know where we go now, though. We make the playoffs, but I don't know where we go now. We need to get that 6th seed, and that 6th seed ain't happening when you got AD sitting out games and Schroeder one moment play defense. I don't know. D'Lo got to get back. Once D'Lo get back, D'Lo we've seen what he did in Brooklyn. D'Lo can go on a nice little stretch of getting busy, being that number 1, number 2 option. And I say number 1 option because, again, AD, we don't know. He might have wax in his ear and might not play tonight. So who knows? But I think we'll be fine. Laker Nation, we good. Don't worry about it. We straight.
So, yeah, I agree 100%. I think the win tonight was nice. I think they just have – that team plays really, really hard. They have good basketball character. So they get a little more talent in Beasley and D'Lo and Vanderbilt to hold them down in this time without LeBron and when AD wants to play and wants to show up as well. Which is funny because, his whole thing this season's been he's just been upset because they haven't been winning games and he wants to win and he's a winner. But then you sit out this game. I don't get that part. I hope it was the Lakers holding him out, which wouldn't look good for them either. But I hope that's what it is, because if that's what AD's out here doing, that's nuts. But yeah, I think they have a good chance. I think they're gonna make the playoffs. I really do. I believe that. I think Bron will come back probably 2 weeks from now, because he's not human. I think he'll be back soon. The rumor was that he was playing through this injury anyways. Like it just got worse when he twisted it. So hopefully he's back real soon. And you guys can make a run in the playoffs. But that Lakers team, they play so hard. They play hard. They're actually fun to watch. Like now they have a little talent. Now that Russell Westbrook not there turning the ball over every time he touches the ball, I can stomach watching them play a little bit. You gotta admit, it's tough. Like it's tough watching Westbrook play basketball. As someone who likes basketball, like it ain't easy. Some of these turnovers, it ain't all bad, but damn.
I gotta say this though. The narrative is really disgusting because he's been playing pretty decent with the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm seeing the post and the Clippers are 0-3 since getting Westbrook. Can we look at Ty Lue and some of his coaching? Can we look at that? Can we look at Paul George sometimes not playing well and he having crucial turnovers? Like, come on, it can't all be on Russ. And hey, maybe they would be in a better position. Kawhi played more games. Kawhi wait till the last 25. Now he playing, doing back-to-backs and whatnot, but
he took a fall the other night. I thought he was gonna be out for the next 3 weeks.
You got Adam Silver trying to change rules now for Kawhi. Oh, we should have a target score in overtime. I think not. I think not, Adam. That's terrible. So what, Kawhi barely played this year. What you mean? Oh, he had to play in a back-to-back in a 46-minute game. Okay. He's played 46 minutes all year. What are we talking about here? It makes absolutely no sense to me. Before we continue, right? Clay's been going off lately. Steph is supposed to be back like within the next 2-3 games. Are they the favorite in the West again?
No.
Oh my God, no.
They're a threat. I mean, once they get Steph back and they're able to, because it's real tight in the West. So anything can happen. Like the 10 seed could jump up to 5 or 6.
Yes.
So we'll see. Like you get Steph back, anything can happen.
Yeah, they moved up to the 5 seed now. And they only a game and a half behind Phoenix for the 4th.
See? So yeah. This is a team that nobody really wants to play in the playoffs. It's like not so much a secret. Like this is a team that they're kind of known for playing well in the playoffs. Like Steph, he's built for the playoffs. Draymond, if he can, stay healthy, he knows how to play in the playoffs. And yeah, if Clay's playing better, that helps them out even more.
Yo, they really on your head top. Somebody just hit the chat on IG talking about, sent the screenshot of the Knicks box score. It's like, yo, I thought Jalen Brunson wasn't gonna be able to keep it up.
That's why I said some Knicks fans deserve this moment. Others don't. But
I said we need a public apology, yo. You trying to say Mikal Bridges is gonna be the best player in New York?
I'm not going to back off that one yet. Brunson's amazing, and Brunson may very well end up being the best player. And if you guys trade for a superstar, well, forget about it, right? Hopefully we get one too. But the Mikal Bridges, he's cold. There's something to him now. It's not a game. He's not better than Brunson, but he can certainly be an all-star. I like our future. I'm not upset about that part. I'm not going to renege that one totally yet. But what was I going to say? You guys brought up Steph Curry. I saw a clip of Andre Iguodala talking about how the reason why Steph Curry is better all time than Magic Johnson is because Magic Johnson had more talent surrounding him than Steph Curry. He also compared Steph Curry to Jesus Christ at one point. Look, I can't say what I want to say on the podcast.
And they talk about our podcast. They talk about we say off the wall stuff. But go ahead.
Yo, first of all, the factually and just to prop Steph Curry up by saying something that's so factually incorrect is crazy to me. When Andre Iguodala know damn well he played with Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Draymond, the team was loaded. They won 73 games and added Kevin Durant, and somehow Magic played with more talent. Michael Cooper, really, that's what we doing. Michael Cooper and James Worthy was nice, no BS. Where he was nice, but come on, and Kareem was nice too. But damn. Come on now, like what are we talking about? That is nuts. Like that is not the argument you make if you're going to talk about Steph being a better player than Magic Johnson. I'm just sorry, that's not it. That is not it. I know Steph is 5 inches deep down Andre's throat all the time these days, but that is not the way you make that argument. I don't get that part. That's weird. And the comparing him to Jesus Christ thing. I mean, come on now, really, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing, bro. You see, that's why people don't like Steph, bro. I'm telling you, bro, because it's stuff like that. Like, it's hard. Some people make it hard. Steph's a good dude, man. But we only got to do this. We got to do this whole exceptionalism thing with him where we act like he can do no wrong. Really, guys? I'm not saying he's done wrong even. I'm just saying, like, that this is crazy. We're like immortalizing the guy. He's the greatest shooter of all time. Top 10 player all time. That's it. Let's stop. Stop it right there. He's not Jesus Christ. He can't walk on water. Okay, he can't turn water into wine. Okay, that's not what we're doing. Like, damn, what is going on out here? Iguodala should be ashamed of himself. He's a grown man. He probably got kids. Over here,
Jesus hit no look threes.
Probably.
I got my money on Jesus. If he came on the court, Jesus averaged a triple double, no pat stat. You feel me?
Come on, man. Damn, bro.
Looking in the future, man. We didn't get to talk about this on the last episode. Bronny is projected to be a top 10 draft pick when he comes out, which is projected what, 2024?
2024.
Next year, top 10 draft pick. I want to look at it in two ways. Is that too high? And if he's top 10, right? Let's say it's the Magic. Let's say it's the Wizards. If you're Bron, do you still have that desire to go play with your son? If it's the Magic, the Wizards, the T-Wolves, any of those teams.
It shouldn't be them, but that'd be great.
I mean, I guess just because of the fact that it's never been done before, and I think Bron will still have a lot in the tank when Bronny's drafted. So hopefully he goes somewhere that is likable. Hey, maybe the Knicks will have a pick, and
That would be a really
they're
bad.
crazy. Yeah, I can see it already.
I think that's the thing. If he's going top 10 as they project, more times than not, unless it's a trade that happened like the KD trade, the James Harden trade, that number 10 seed is a booty team that LeBron's going to have to go to and basically be starting over at what, 40, 41 at that point, just to go play with his son, which is history. But at the same time, I might have to pull a Kobe. I might have to pull a Eli Manning. We're forcing a trade. I'm not coming to play Orlando and start my career basically over on some team that just won 12 games last year.
What if he chooses to just work out for one team, or choose to work out for like a couple teams and do it like that, where he kind of
That could easily happen, by the way. Yeah, I can see that. He could force his way to a specific spot that Brian may want to go to. It may be pre-organized that way, and maybe he falls out of the 10 spot, or whatever. But the Magic would not be a bad spot to go to. I'm just gonna say that because Markelle Fultz and Paolo Banchero, he is tough. The Banchero crazy. He outdueled Ingram the other night, just head on. Like, that kid is gonna be special. He has superstar written all over him. Honestly, like it's gonna happen for him. So if he went there, I don't think Brown would be complaining because it'd be a good team, warm weather, good for the knees, good for all at the joints. I know it's not a sexy location, but you got Disney World around the corner and all that. So it could be worse. It could be a lot worse. It could be in Oklahoma City or something, which I think he would protest that. He would protest that. All right.
Yo, what about Cleveland? What if it's Cleveland, yo?
That'd be crazy, but
crazy.
that'd be crazy.
That would be crazy.
They're too good. They're too good, and it's sustainable. Just like the Knicks is sustainable. They're sustainably
Yeah,
good.
but get Darius Garland out of here. I'll take Bronny and Big Bron for 5,000.
That would be nuts. That would be nuts, though. I ain't gonna hold you. That'd be crazy. But I mean, look, where he's at, where Bronny's at on this in this draft, this mock draft, I think it's it's an accurate evaluation of his talent. I'm just saying, I don't think these people have anything to gain by saying he's there. I don't think Bron paid ESPN to put him in the 10 spot, guys. You got to wake up and start watching basketball and have a little bit of understanding about what this is all about. The kid could average 30 points a game if he wanted to. I really believe that. He's that talented, but he plays the right way. And so it's not gaudy numbers, and you guys just think that he's not that good or that LeBron's pulling strings, and that's why he made Team USA. I don't even think the kid Mikey made it, by the way. You know what I mean? He didn't make it, right? Bronny plays the right way. He plays winning basketball. He's extremely talented, can defend at a high level, can knock down threes at a nice clip, get to the basket. He's a complete player. And at worst, he's Marcus Smart in the NBA. At best, he's Drew Holiday. That's what we're looking at. So that's a top 10 pick. Marcus Smart was a top 10 pick in the draft, if I don't remember. Yeah, right? If I remember correctly, he was a lottery guy. He was at Oklahoma State going crazy. He looked like he's going to be an offensive guy in the league, and he quickly transitioned. I think Bronny can be very similar at worst, and Drew Holiday at best.
6th overall pick in the 2014 NBA draft.
Thank you, and I want to make sure this clip get out there so people don't because people don't listen to the whole podcast. Y'all gotta know that I know what I'm talking about. Like Bronny's positioning in this draft, it makes sense based on just his pro comps and based on what the player he is, like, and what this draft looks like. This 2024 draft is not nearly as strong as this year's draft, so also take that into account too. All right, so. Yeah, the kid has a real good chance. He's a real good chance, and he's gonna be a really good NBA pro. I really believe that.
So where does he go after this? You think G League, Ohio State?
I think college. I think college. I think he's gonna get the college experience. I don't think he's going G League or nothing like that. He gonna pull a Zaire Wade or something. You know, he's not doing that. That was funny. But he ain't doing nothing like that. He's gonna end up going to college. Probably in Oregon. Coach K is not coaching anymore. It would have been Duke for sure. It would have been a lot. But I think it'll be Oregon or one of those schools like that, a Pac-12, something in Cali, stay close to home, stay close to the Lakers facility, be near his dad. I can see something like that going on there for sure. But he's got a bunch of blue bloods after him. I think Ohio State's a long shot, but it would be cool too. That'd be a cool story. He went to Ohio State. Either way, he's getting the top 10 nod.
Speaking about the college scene, March Madness is around the corner. Who do y'all see as the top teams that actually you think could go all the way? I know you got the Houstons of the world, you got Alabama.
Always in it.
Who are y'all picking as probably the top 4 teams that actually have a chance to make a run?
I mean, there's always a team that just comes out of nowhere that, like St. Peter's last year, they went on this crazy run that they weren't supposed to, but
right.
They did.
Who's the St. Peter's of this year? If you had to predict who could be the St. Peter's of this year?
They're always so tough to predict. You're never watching the small mid-major schools. They always just catch you by surprise. No matter I don't care how in tune you are college basketball. It's hard to guess. As far as top 4 seeds or teams that are top and at the top, Houston obviously with Jarius Walker, really really good. The team's really really the lead guard Marcus Sasser is really really good. They're good all around, so they're gonna be a problem. Period. Elite 8 at least. They're elite. And well coached every year. The coach does a great job, Samson. And then Alabama with the Murders twins over there. I think they got a good situation. They're going to be a good team this year, make a nice little run at it. So Brandon Miller is nice. Okay, he a top 10 pick. You hear it. They're ignoring the little noise with the police. They don't care. That's how good the scouts think he is. So they still think he'll be a top 5 pick. I think he's going to be incredible. down the stretch of the tournament, and a lot of fun to watch, all seriousness aside. So I think he's the guy. I think that's a good team. A lot of the blue bloods are down this year, but you've got Arizona, who's really, really good. They lost to Arizona State, a close one the last weekend, but they're good. They got a good team all around. And you've got teams like Gonzaga, who's always really good, period, too, right? They're always really strong as well. They can make a good case for themselves as well. And they've got 30-year-olds playing for them, right? I think Drew Timme, is that his name? He's got to be 40 at this point. He's been in college forever, I feel like. But he they'll make a run at it. Who else am I feel like I'm forgetting some guys, some powerhouses out here too, some good teams that can be very competitive. But you got your bubble teams. UNC's in the bubble. They'll probably get in. They've been winning since they've had to get their acts together. I still can't stand Caleb Love's game. It's disgusting to watch. He shoots everything, and he's incredibly inefficient. Is he a senior? He's a junior, I think, this year, and he hasn't figured it out. So to me, unacceptable on that part for me. I'm not drafting him. That's just me. But I think a flyer. That's where I see it. But they're a bubble team. They'll get in. I think.
Yeah, they got to finish off the year correctly. They got to make sure. I think one game that they got to win. They got to beat Duke at the end of the year, and they can't have one of those typical UNC type of things where it's in the ACC tournament and they just go and lose to NJCU or something like that. Like that can't happen. And they tend to do that all the time. Just it's frustrating being a UNC fan, man. Oh my gosh, it's frustrating. Before we talk football, how are you feeling about your Kentucky? You mute.
It's just another year where it's like they're so inconsistent. Where each game they could beat Tennessee, like they beat Tennessee the other week, and then they lose to teams that like we're used to them beating. So I mean, just like anything, anybody can get hot at a certain point in time, but they've got to really come out of this SEC tournament rolling on all cylinders because there's no real stars on this Kentucky team. Like there's no like top 10 first round picks that I see on this team. So I mean, they could make the Sweet 16 if the ball bounces the right way, but I don't really have faith. I mean, anything is better than last year. Losing to St. Peter's, that was that was disgusting. I'm sitting there watching it and I'm like, they're really about to lose to this Jersey City team. Like, you got to be kidding me. Um, but we'll see. I mean, anything can happen, but I haven't been watching too much of the games. I'm really focused on next year when that top rated recruiting class comes in with DJ Wagner and a couple other guys. So,
Yeah, that class looked nice. Kentucky looked like they should be. They should be back on top next year. It'll just be again, Calipari got to put all that together because it's what 3 of those players probably are one and done, easy. So if Calipari can put it together, they'll be back on top. Looking at NFL before we close out, free agent list. I'm gonna say some names. Y'all tell me if they staying, if they leaving. If they leaving, where do you think they could possibly end up, or what team would need them? First one, of course, we got to talk about Saquon Barkley. Is he staying? Is he leaving? What team could use Saquon?
I'm going to say he stays. I think they're going to sign both those guys back. I think it's hard to sign Daniel Jones back and not sign Saquon Barkley back. That's just my opinion. I think that they'll work out these contracts in a way where it's still pretty cap friendly. And because you're not paying Daniel Jones, because Daniel Jones is going to get like $38 million a year. I know the hype's at 45. It's not happening. All BS. The Giants didn't even negotiate with CAA. So that had to be smoke from CAA when he let them go. They were mad or whatever. Period. Whatever it is. But they're going to structure these contracts in a way where it all works out, and they'll both be able to be here, and they'll be able to build the team up. So I think he'll be back. That's just me. I think they'll work out a contract. I heard they're getting close. I heard like from just looking at the old Twitter and looking at some of these sources that contract is not super far away, and it could get done soon. So I think he'll be back. He's also the captain of the team. Hard to let that guy go, and I understand. I don't love paying running backs, but it does make sense to bring him back.
Once y'all release Kenny Galladay, y'all gonna have $53 million in cap.
Yeah, he's getting brought back. He's getting brought
As
back.
long as y'all pay Daniel Jones what is expected, not that $45 million that people was lying about, then there should be enough cap space to be able to bring Danny Dimes back, Saquon, and then try to get a couple of pieces and free agents to build this team back up. Bobby Wagner, staying, leaving. Who could use Bobby?
Was he?
Yeah,
Was he?
He's a free agent. He's a free agent. So what team they released him? What teams could use Bobby Wagner?
Contenders.
The Jets. The Jets could use Bobby Wagner.
Contenders.
I'd swap him out for CJ.
How much they pay that guy? He was a big free agent acquisition one of those years, a few years ago.
CJ?
Yeah. Was he? Am I wrong about? Is it CJ?
Like
Mostly.
5 years, $85 million.
Yeah.
It was a lot of money, and I think Bobby still got the tread on the tires. Like he's still an All-Pro, Pro Bowl caliber. But I don't think the Jets would do that.
I've heard differently from people I trust. That I heard that he's surviving off of his name these days, and he's not as good of a player as he once was. That's what I've been hearing. I don't watch Bobby Wagner. I am not a football nerd. I'm not a linebacker expert. I can't tell you if he's reading his keys the right way or whatever. I'm just telling you what I've heard from people who are football nerds, that guy has not been as good as you would expect a guy of his caliber to be. He's declining.
Are you trying to tank his stock? Is that what you're trying to do?
If I have the power to do
coming
this,
to New York. He's not coming to New York. I know you guys need linebackers, but he's not coming there.
That's not what I want.
Hey.
I can tell you what I want is linebackers for the Giants. Okay, Jack Campbell from Iowa. Drew Sanders from what's it called? Where's he go to school? Is that Arkansas? I believe he's at. I think it's Arkansas. He's at him. Yeah, and then the Trenton Simpson guy from Clemson. The 3 guys that I'm eyeing for linebacker. So no, I don't want him. I want a young guy. Give me a young guy.
At 33, though, he was second team All-Pro last year. So I don't know how.
Really good. Yeah, people might be just chatting. I'm just telling you what I heard from some nerds. You know how that is. They reading all the DVOA and all that stuff. So look, if the Jets want him, please go right ahead.
I honestly think the Eagles should go after him. I mean, they
They're
could
gonna lose
honestly
linebacker.
give him a year or 2 and pay him. I mean, they're letting go most of their players that started on this team. So they got to fill those holes. And one of their biggest holes is linebacker. So I think this team, they can make another run for a Super Bowl. But they got to slowly try to figure out, where do I spend the money and where do I, hold back? Because they're letting Miles Sanders go. So if you don't want to sign Saquon, you could get Saquon Jr. and Miles Sanders for a little cheaper. Bargain bin Saquon. If you want.
Diet Saquon.
Yeah.
Speaking of running backs, it's rumored he's on the Eagles. I think I saw the Bengals. I saw maybe even the 49ers. Tony Pollard is believed to be out in Dallas.
Really?
Well, they're letting him go?
Yeah, they were going to keep him. I heard that they were going to keep him. I didn't know for sure. Oh, well.
I think they said they're going to try to franchise him, or Tony Pollard, from a couple podcasts I listened to, his agent, he don't want to come back.
Yeah, you're not going for that.
No.
He don't want to come back to Dallas, period.
Because they're splitting time with the guy who's inferior to him. He's sharing snaps with Zeke, and Zeke sucks. He's not even good anymore. The Dallas the way they operate is so stupid. Okay, let's not even go there, because that's a stupid franchise. I just want to say that, because they should have been won a Super Bowl already with all the talent they have. They should have been won one, but it's because they screw around and they gave Zeke this crazy contract, regardless of the fact that they saw him declining towards the end of his rookie scale. Hey, come on, guys. Anyways, if he walks, there's gonna be a lot of suitors, a lot of interested teams.
I like the Bills.
The Bills.
They need a running back, and they've
Me
been
and him thinking the same thing
for a while. So
yeah, they make a run at him. The Bills make a run at him, for sure. What other teams would make a run? I mean, the Niners. Why would they do that with McCaffrey? Where are they getting the money from? They pull the money out of the ass. I don't get. The maybe the Saints, because they always find ways to mess around with the cap, but they're going in a different direction. That team. and they have to get younger. They're kind of fooling themselves. And Kamara's out because he beat up that guy. The video came out. So the Saints could be interesting, maybe, but probably not.
A sneaky place is the Bears because they got the most cap
Money.
in the NFL as a run first team. If they're trying to build around Justin Fields, you got to bring in another running back because David Montgomery's not coming back. So, dark horse, if he's able to hit the market.
But Khalil Herbert's pretty good. Do you want to take snaps away from him, and or go to a similar situation where you have to spread, you have to share snaps?
Do you trust Khalil Herbert to handle that full-time role? I don't know.
Good. He's
He is
all
pretty good. He's pretty good, but Tony Pollard's one of the best
Better.
running backs in the league.
Yeah, he's better. He's better.
Do y'all see Jalen Ramsey being picked up by any team? And is Jalen Ramsey even a top 10 DB in the league still?
Yeah, he's still top 10.
I think so.
He's just not that top dog anymore. So I think the Rams understand that they have no cap and they can't afford to just pay a guy who's not playing at that same level that amount of money. So you got to trade him and get pieces for him because this team, they went all in on that championship and they got it. But now they're kind of stuck in limbo because Matthew Stafford is a question mark. You had to let Bobby Wagner go, who's a really good piece. Aaron Donald is always a question mark whether he's going to retire or not at this point in his career. So it's time to start looking elsewhere. And I mean, I could see, I don't think the Jets would do it, but I could see the Chiefs taking a flyer on him. And they've got ways to make the money work. And that's a need for them. They need a cornerback. So he'd bring that bravado that they need on defense.
Speaking of the Chiefs, I wanted to ask that with the Chiefs winning, with mainly rookies playing, is the era of needing a shutdown corner still so much a need in the NFL anymore?
I think so. I mean, if they
He's
can
got
shut
soft.
down your best receiver, because the receivers are just getting better and better each year. So, I mean, as we saw in the Super Bowl, who was it? AJ Brown was getting loose. Devontae Smith was getting loose, and he is the number 2 guy. So if you don't have guys like the Chiefs didn't have an answer for those guys in the Super Bowl. So imagine if they did, the game might have been over a lot sooner than it was. So I think, yeah, if you have a corner, like look what it did for the Jets. Like we were worst in pass defense in 2021. Come this year, we're like top 3 in the league. We've got 2 pretty much Pro Bowl, all pro caliber cornerbacks that were able to basically change the way our defense works. That's the thing. If the cornerback's back there locking up, that allows the people up front to get to the quarterback a lot faster. So yeah, I think it's much needed in the league.
Close out the show. It is Women's History Month. Give me y'all Mount Rushmore of female athletes. So y'all top 4 female athletes of all time. Miles, you can start it off, Greg, and I'll end it off.
I think I want to say top 5 women of all time, just in general, that you know. That'd be funny. I don't know why. It'd be funny to me though.
I'd say Diana Taurasi. I think she's like one of the greatest women's basketball players of all time. Serena, that's a given. That should have been the first one. Who else? Candace Parker. I think she came in around the time when like LeBron was coming into the league and seeing what she did at Tennessee and what she's done in the league. She kind of changed the game for bigger players in the league to be able to handle the rock and, you know, kind of that point forward, that LeBron role on teams. And the fourth one, like there's a lot of obvious answers that I'm just missing, but help me out. Help me out with this last one.
Me, all right. Well, I'll go Maya Moore because she was the best female basketball player I've ever seen play in my life. She was cold before she chose to go break somebody out of jail and all that, and then marry him. Um, and then who was the next person I had in mind? So there's Maya Moore, Serena Williams. Obviously, Serena Williams would be one on this list. She's a GOAT. She's the second greatest athlete to ever live, in my opinion, man or woman or trans, whatever you want to call them. Second greatest athlete, period. Um, and then who else we got here? We got who else he got here? I'm thinking. Hold on. I had three in my head. I had at least three. So I'm just the third person's escaping me. Serena, um, Diana Taurasi is obviously up there. She's gotta be in the conversation for sure.
You said Serena, Diana, Maya Moore. One more.
Serena, Diana, Maya Moore, and I'm trying to leave the basketball space. I'm trying to leave it. You could obviously there's so many incredible, so many, but I think but yes, Allison Felix, incredible track star, good runner. And I think she's got a bunch of gold medals under her belt. So I would do those. Those are my four. Those are my four. I was being inclusive, by the way, with the trans thing. By the way, I'm just saying, you don't know how. There's that Jamaican track star who was a dude or a train. I don't know what happened there.
Hey, Maz, you got your last one?
I'm gonna have to cut that one up.
For sure.
Shoot.
You throwing Layla Ali up there?
Oh.
No chance.
He said no.
No chance. She was good, but you're gonna have to knock out a few more people to live up to that name. I think Flojo. Flojo's should be up there. She was probably the greatest women's track runner in our country's history. So I can't believe you said Allison Felix though. I'm shocked. Shocked she's up on this list. She was great. Just greatest.
Greatest is all right. Well, it's subjective, right?
It's subjective. It's his greatest.
It's subjective. I ain't gonna cap. I just seen her the most. So I'm saying I just seen her the most.
I'm gonna go Serena, Jackie Joyner Kersey. I'm gonna go Candace Parker, and I'm gonna pick one for the future because I think the path that she's on right now, I think she will be better than Candace Parker, better than Lisa Leslie ever was, better than Diana Taurasi. She stays healthy. Aja Wilshire, Las Vegas Aces. Yeah. And they probably running it up again this year. Liberty made some moves, but them Aces added Candace Parker to the squad. Nah. Them Aces about to run it up again, back to back. Trust and believe, when the Aces come to Brooklyn, I will be at the game, barring the price, because y'all be bugging. Prices.
They tax him to get in?
It's more for the Liberty than it is
No,
for the Nets.
you ain't gotta do all that. Okay.
Now, if you stay ready, you got to get ready. Bitch, Mob, ENT, we out. Peace.
I'm blowing my shit, man.